Hi, Dennis here at Capital Training and Shoeing. I'm on a fairly young horse right here. This horse is broke, but what he had started doing was reverting to what I call a defensive posture with the person that's been riding him, instead of softening up in a green. And so I'm going to just ride him around here a little bit and talk about what I do when I feel that and how to overcome that. It really, doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot what you've got in their mouth. It's how you use it that makes the difference. And I know that's a controversial topic because everybody wants to think that the bits are some kind of a magical fix. And I'm not saying that bits don't feel differently, but I'm telling you that there's one common thread to every piece of equipment you ever put on your horse, and that's your hands up here. And when your hands will only be as good as your level of understanding of what you want. It doesn't matter. The definition of a good hand isn't how soft can you be all the time. It means how soft can you be at the right time. And if the horse is not doing what we want and we're staying soft, what are we doing? We're teaching the horse to do what we don't want. So therefore, that almighty clear mental picture that I always talk about is the most important thing. It truly is the key, the sole key to better horsemanship. You've got to know exactly what you want at all times, and then be able to recognize, when is this horse doing what I want? Is he doing what I want, or is he not? This is the thought process that I take care of. I use when I'm riding. So I'm gonna ask this horse to go forward. Right now he's kind of looking off to the left. I know he is, and now he's looking off to the right. I'm just feeling, these are just things that horses do. But I want him to take a step straight forward. And he's pushing back against my legs. He looked back at my legs. He felt me move. And did he move his feet? No, he just kept his feet planted. So there's the first hint of resistance that I feel when I'm sitting on this horse right now. The first thing I've got to have is some movement forward. Willing forward motion is one of your best tools. So I've asked him again, there's a step, and so there he got met with one step in relief, and he perverted it with what he did with his back end. He took his hind end and moved it to the right. That wasn't what I was asking him to do. I asked him to step forward. So I'm gonna range these bridle reins a little bit. Now I know you might wonder, why am I going to try to fix this one-handed? It would be easier to fix it two-handed, would it? It might be for some, if you want to ride two-handed all the time. But what are you going to have? What's going to happen when you put the reins back in one hand and you ask him to do something, and he contorts his body in a position that's not conducive to getting what you want. So we've got to have some way of figuring that out. Now, right now, this horse is looking outside, so he's outside. I've asked him to go forward. He didn't pay any attention to my legs at all. So now I'm going to follow up with just a little bit of tap on that behind, and he's not going forward at all. Look at him, he's going backwards, moved his hip out of the way. So I'm just moving my legs just a little bit, and he's just dancing back there. There's the right step. So that step that he took right there was the first opportunity that this horse had of putting relief in himself. You see, that's it. The almighty release is what makes everything work. And this horse right now is in a defensive posture. I want to go to the right, and he's looking back over his left shoulder. He's moved his hip off out there to the right, so he's nowhere near where I want him to be. So I'm going to ask him to come forward again. Ask again. There's the right step. There's another right step. So now we're starting to just kind of go on here a little bit. I'm just letting it happen. I'm looking about 20 feet out, and I'm feeling this horse either be on the path I'm asking him to be on, or he's not on the path. If he's on the path that I want him to be on, if he's between the boundaries, then I'm gonna let him feel that relief that comes right in there from being between those boundaries. There he's right on. Now, where this horse had been getting a little bit defensive was not only in not wanting to move forward, but as soon as the person would take a hold of his mouth, he was hollowing his back and letting it stop his feet. He was stopping his feet instead of continuing to go forward. So I've got a little contact with his mouth. I'm lifting on that and asking him to get forward, and there he softened up in his jaw and he went forward, so I was able to help him find a little bit more relief. I asked him to go forward a little bit. Now he's got his back is hollowed out, his nose is sticking out. He's not where I want him to be. Now he's pushing off to the right just a little bit, so I'm going to come alive more with my feet. I'm going to offer a little bit more resistance from my hand. I'm lifting on that bridle rein, and see my hand moving here, my rein hand moving just a little bit. I'm lifting on it just a little bit, and he's saying, I feel you in my mouth, so I've got to stop my feet. Well, no, he doesn't have to stop his feet. He can tuck his nose, soften up there. He can soften up. He ain't tried yet. Yeah, there hadn't been there. There was some try right there. So I'm gonna let him have some forward motion here, free flowing forward motion. Now I'm asking him to keep going forward. I've engaged my legs a little bit right here. Now I'm going to offer some resistance to his nose, and you see that want to stop his feet again. He hauled his back. I'm waiting for him to tuck his nose just a little bit. A little bit tucking your nose. He ain't tried yet. There's no try. There was try right there. So I'll let him down and we'll go on. I use my inside leg just about right at the cinch to help keep this horse's body sort of soft on the inside so he's looking in the direction of travel. I use my outside leg to increase forward motion, to drive from behind. I'm using this bridle rein that I see me tapping him just a little bit with that bridle rein as I offer resistance in his face. There was some try right there. So when I say there was some try, I'm gonna stop right here. When I say there was some try, that horse quit pulling on the bridle rein. He tucked his nose, and he tucked his nose because I was asking him to go forward. I had a wall set on his nose, and he needed to find somewhere to find relief, so he finally said, oh, I'll try this. And when he tried that, he got instantaneous release in that bridle rein. He put the slack in there, I didn't put it in there. So I'm gonna ask him to go forward here again, resisting my feet, fishtailing behind. There's forward. Now let's get a little bit more forward. So if I don't have some willing forward motion and I put resistance in his mouth, he's gonna just shut me out and stop rather than try to find a way to change his posture. So I've lifted on that bridle rein, I've got life in my hand, I'm moving it just a little bit, I'm waiting for that horse to tuck that nose right there. Now I'm completely out of his mouth. I'm gonna change direction here. Ask him to come on around over there. Now I'm gonna look to the left. Now see, my body told him to go left, and he's thinking about going straight away. So I'm gonna ask for a little more forward motion. I'm still looking left. He moved his hip too far to the inside, then he moved it too far to the outside. He's pushing on my hands. He's not trying. There's no try, so I'm asking for more forward motion. I've got life in my hands. I'm just right there. I got nothing to release to yet because he's not trying. He's not trying. He's not. There was some try. So I'm gonna let him have some moment. It's real subtle, and you might not have been able to see that, but he quit pulling on my hand. And as soon as he quit pulling on my hand, I let him travel forward again. So I've reapplied the resistance to his face. I'm showing him that all you've got to do is tuck that nose and keep going forward. Tuck that nose and keep going forward. He's hollowed his back and he's pushing on my hands. And there was some try. So let him have that forward freedom. So anyway, this is a process. I mean, the horse didn't develop this resistance overnight. It's probably not going to change this instantaneously. He's got to know that when he feels me to ask him to do something, that there is a way that he can put the release in there, and that is by me being aware of what I want. I know exactly how I want his body to be. I know exactly how I want his face to be. I know what I want it to feel like. And the instant that horse steps into my clear mental picture, instantaneous and complete release happens just at that moment. Therefore, then we can go forward in complete freedom with a willing attitude and a good posture that the horse actually put there himself. And so anyway, this would be what I would do on a regular basis with this horse, to add just a little more forward motion. Now, when I feel resistance from him, I don't increase my energy that much. I just stay consistent. There's no release in that. If I feel resistance in him, I meet him where he's at. I stay consistent with it. I wait on him, and pretty soon you can outweight them. They'll try, and the second that try is there, that horse felt it, then I will respond with more. So a little bit of try from the horse gets a bigger release from me. The horse puts the initial release in, I follow up with more release. When I take contact with him, if that resistance is there, I just repeat the process. And then he starts to develop the understanding that when he feels resistance from me, there's no need for him to resist more. The quicker that he can find a way to soften up and agree, the quicker he's going to find that complete release. So that's the sequence and how this really works. So if you like the content that we're putting out, I really would appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much.